Lions and tigers and bears and giraffes and dogs. Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Pirate King Codex here with my review of One Piece Chapter 1062, Adventure in the Land of Science. After the woman revealed herself as Dr. Vegapunk, Frankie fanboys over their work, while Sanji is head over heels because Vegapunk is actually a woman. Robin points out that she thought that Dr. Vegapunk was a man and that their history doesn't really line up with their youth. Vegapunk explains that she's not the main Vegapunk, the Stella, but she's Punk 2, Lilith the Evil. Due to her research budget being at its limits, she demands that the Straw Hats hand over their valuables. Nami asks that they at least be brought somewhere safe, but Lilith makes it clear that she's not there to save them. Suddenly, a bunch of sea beasts emerge from the water and surround the Sunny. While Frankie's impressed with Vegapunk's handiwork, Usopp begins to panic. Lilith gets a call from another one of the Vegapunks, Shaka the Good. Shaka explains that Lilith needs to stand down as they're up against one of the Four Emperors' crews. Lilith sees this as an opportunity for profit, but Shaka points out that both Zoro and Robin could easily take them out from a distance. Shaka tells Lilith to bring them back as he has an interest in the crew. The scene transitions to Luffy's group, where Bonnie's explaining that she's been to the island as a kid, but back then it was just a regular laboratory. Bonnie reveals that she's here for revenge against Vegapunk, for turning her father into an unthinking machine. It seems that Bonnie's father is actually Kuma. They make their way to the surface while Bonnie thinks about mentioning Sabo, but she decides it can wait. Luffy and Chopper become easily distracted by all the technology around them, but especially with the giant robot and the space monster. Of course, Luffy's first instinct is to try to ride the space monster. He launches himself into its mouth, but instead of being eaten, he actually goes right through. And then they happen upon a pile of food, which now gets Bonnie and Chopper excited as well. They try to eat the food, but then they also realize that they just pass right through it. Luffy begins to wonder if they died, but Jinbei points out that he thinks that they're just holograms. Jinbei also notes that even though it was cold outside when they arrived, it's warm over in this area. A tall figure appears and explains that there's an island AC that controls the temperature of the island. Thinking this new person is probably just a hologram too, Luffy decides to punch them, but quickly finds out the hard way as he gets knocked away that they're solid. He's knocked into a machine that starts to spit out food, so the group decides to eat their fill. After demonstrating their light pressure gloves, they announce themselves as another version of Vegapunk named Atlas. Bonnie thinks this is odd because this isn't the Vegapunk that she knows and thinks that they're lying. We cut over to CP Aegis Zero members Stussy, Lucci, and Kaku, who are discussing Vegapunk. Lucci is grappling with the concept that Kaku is explaining that Vegapunk has split themselves into 6 different people in order to get more done in a short amount of time. Lucci then lays out their plan that they need to bring the Seraphim version of Kuma over to Egghead and eliminate all the versions of Vegapunk. Kaku also adds that they need to be careful not to destroy the valuable items in the lab. Lucci wonders if the world government wants to take out Vegapunk due to the incident that happened at Lelouch, but Kaku and Stussy don't want to know the answer to this. So this was an interesting chapter because we got more information about the deal with Vegapunk. Last chapter was weird that we saw that Vegapunk was a woman, when previously it's been confirmed that he was a man. So we get an explanation for this as Vegapunk has split himself into 6 different personalities. They also show that the different versions of Vegapunk refer to themselves as Punk and then a number. So there's a naming convention here. They also have a name and then a title to go along with it. So we have a breakdown here. We have Punk 1, Shaka the Good. Punk 2, Lilith the Evil. Punk 3, Edison the Thinker. Punk 4, Pythagoras the Wisdom. Punk 5, Atlas the Violence. And lastly, Punk 6, York the Greed. The chapter only gave a diagram that had the name of each Vegapunk along with their title. But if they're going by the same naming conventions like they did with Shaka the Good and Lilith the Evil, we can assume that they'll likely be the same naming conventions for the others as well. Overall, this was a really fun chapter. Oda's been on a hot streak lately. In this chapter, we had more of who we now know to be Lilith, which is one of the versions of Vegapunk. So we got more of her personality here, where she was basically just looking to make a quick buck in order to fund her research. I really like Frankie's reaction and how he's basically meeting Vegapunk, who is one of his inspirations. He's been inspired by all the work and is familiar with the technology that was on Baltimore, where he was for 2 years during the time skip. I also like how there's an acknowledgement of Robin being formidable here as well, not just Zoro. Zoro's obviously one of the strongest members on the crew, but Robin here is also pointed out as being one of the threats that that Lilith needs to be on the lookout for. It was fun seeing Luffy explore the island a little bit more and the different technology that was being exposed. I'm getting some like Astro Boy or like Mega Man kind of vibes with the kind of style here, especially with the design of Atlas. The hologram interactions were pretty fun. It was fun seeing them being confused by the concept of the holograms and being disappointed that the food wasn't real. But then it was also cool to see the food dispenser that was able to create the food for real. Last time they were looking for a restaurant, so it looks like they actually found something to eat. It was cool to get more of Bonnie's history here and why she has a vendetta against Vegapunk. Now we know the connection between her and Kuma as well, that Kuma's actually her father. So I'm excited that we're getting more of those details. I know this is something I've been looking forward to for the past few chapter reviews. This is a point that I was hoping to get more details about Bonnie and her connection to the Sorbet Kingdom, and this explains a lot. I'm glad we're getting to see more of CP Aegis Zero, and that we have the return of Lucci and Kaku, along with Sussy from Whole Cake Island. It was nice to get an explanation here about Vegapunk's situation and how he's put himself into 6 different personalities. So that was a great way to explain why Vegapunk is a different person. We know that there's a Stella, who's basically the main version, and then 6 different personalities branch from there. It looks like the world government has decided to take out Vegapunk. Not sure if they're just trying to close up any loose ends at this point, but they are now going to eliminate Vegapunk. Maybe Vegapunk's outlived his usefulness to the world government at this point. They've gotten what they needed. There might also be more information with the Lelouch incident that explains the reasoning for this, but we'll have to kind of see more about that in the future. It looks like there may be a confrontation with the Kuma version of the Seraphim, so there might be a confrontation between Bonnie and the Seraphim at Egghead. This may lead to a rematch with Luffy versus Rob Lucci. We'll see if they end up having a confrontation on Egghead. It looks like that this is where this may be building, but we'll see how that plays out. Overall, I think this was a really great chapter. There's a lot of fun details that were being explained here. This was fun to explore this new island. I can't wait to see the other versions of Vegapunk and what the rest of the island looks like. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. If you have any comments or feedback for me, leave it in the section below. But that's going to be it for this week. Be sure to bring along all of your hopes and dreams, and I'll see you in the next video.